the Stars and Stripes, borne aloft by the wonders of science and the spirit of freedom. Wherever danger issues a mighty challenge, the Liberty Flyer will go. These are the tales of the Liberty Flyer. Armed with the weather-controlling power of the mystical Zambulan shards, the evil Red Baron and his Iron Storm draw ever closer to conquering the world. Only the intrepid crew of the Liberty Flyer stands between him and world domination. Tonight's episode is brought to you commercial-free by the Campaign to End Prohibition, a cause heartily supported by those of us at the studio. Tonight, our heroes plot a course deep into the dark past of their enigmatic sky captain, Mannheim Munsterberg.
Welcome back, listeners. Here aboard the Liberty Flyer, we've been flying for weeks without stopping. I dare say this is the longest we've ever spent in the air. Here in the study, Alvis is poring over books and notes, trying to ascertain the location of the remaining Zambulan shards. What are you doing, Alvis?
I'm 3/4 of the way through the saga of Nebergall, my 5th Icelandic saga this week.
Is that what archaeologists call light reading?
I've been poring over these things looking for some hint, some reference to a crystal of power, a sacred stone, anything. We know these shards turn up in cultures all over the world, but without knowing their origin, I'm just guessing in the dark. I just have to search everywhere until I find some clue the other historians might have missed. Oh.
You need sleep, Alvis. Why don't you take a break? Maybe it'll come to you in a dream. I think I hear Eli up ahead in the projector room. Movie night again, Eli?
My favorite shot's coming up. The tiger leaps, and it barely misses me. Man, I never thought I'd get bored of my own movies. But after seeing them 15 times, what do you expect?
I know how you feel. There's not much to do around here.
I must have heard you walking up and down the highways every hour on the hour. Do the folks at home need this many updates? Yesterday you described rivets in the walls.
Well, you never know when the story will find you.
No stories here. Except the one about me going nuts in his Calm down, Eli. Speaking of tin cans, gotta fix the projector again. God.
I've arrived at the door to the bridge. Mannheim is inside. He's sequestered himself in there every day. He hasn't been his normal jovial self. Some strange melancholy has taken hold of him. At first, I thought it was to do with the damage Rotwang took from that mummy, but now I think it's something deeper. Let's see if I can get a few words out of him. Hello, Mannheim.
Fräulein L'Amour.
Are we any closer to our destination?
You have asked me that many times. This time I can say yes. In fact, we will be able to make a landing shortly. We are over the Mediterranean Ocean now. That island up ahead, that is where we are going.
You still haven't told me why we're stopping here.
That I still cannot say. But it will become very clear soon, I hope. Attention everyone. We are landing. Secure all loose articles.
Hear you right? Mannheim, are we landing?
Oh, you heard it too, Eli? Good. I was starting to wonder if I had dreamed it.
We are landing. This is our destination.
Great! I'll fire up my plane.
That won't be necessary. We will be making a direct landing.
Is that safe? Everyone is looking for us.
I assure you, nobody is looking for us here. Beginning our approach.
The island is coming into view. It's one large, rocky mountain, a looming obelisk of jet-black obsidian, wreathed in sea fog, sticking out of the sea like the face of a great stone beast. Oh my word, it's a volcano!
Inactive. It has been for eons.
There's a massive archway cut into the side. Could it be a sea cave? No, it's man-made. A submarine dock of some kind.
Oh, it's a hangar. It's big enough for an airship.
Big enough for this airship. A perfect fit, in fact.
You speak as if you've been here before, Captain.
The Greeks called it Charybdis Island. We called it Remote Station 47. I left something here. With that of what happened to the weather machine, I must be sure it doesn't fall into the wrong hands.
Are you sure this place is totally deserted?
Abandoned since the war, I assure you. Entering Hangar Bay now.
Mannheim, this is the Liberty Flyer's home port, isn't it?
This is where she was built. Everyone, prepare to mount a subterranean expedition. Ropes, gloves, and headlamps. We disembark as soon as possible.
This place gives me the heebie-jeebies.
Look at these circular holes in the walls. They don't look natural, and they appear to have happened recently.
Yes, only a decade ago.
What happened here?
A terrible mistake. We have to go further.
Is that the motion tracker we used to pursue the Razor?
Yeah, just to ensure we are not being followed.
Followed? I wish you'd quit being so mysterious and tell us why we're here.
All will be explained in time. This way.
We've come to a vast circular room full of tipped-over workbenches and scattered tools. A laboratory. In the center of the room is a massive circular tunnel punched straight down into the ground. Even with the headlamp, I can't see the bottom.
This is it. This is where I kept everything. But where is it? Where are my notes? So we must find them.
But what are we looking for?
Please tell me that sound is normal.
Someone's here. We are not alone.
So, Mannheim, after 10 long years, fate has brought us here together again. I supposed I might find you here, looking for the same thing as I. I'm sorry to inform you that I have already found it.
Manfred von Richthofen! Show yourself, you miserable coward! Come down here and let's settle our score!
Ah, and you've brought Eli, I see. Pity. I had wanted to face you down once more from a plane. But now I must content myself with sealing your tomb without a fight.
He sealed the room. We're trapped.
Don't worry, Mannheim. Your notes on the ground serpent were right where you left them. And I will take very good care of them for you.
Serpent?
Oh no, I thought I destroyed it. I thought I got rid of all of it.
Oh, it's some kind of subterranean vehicle with a drill bit in the front.
That is not my ground serpent. The technology is similar, but who could have acquired it?
Mannheim Munsterberg! You are under arrest for low crimes against the sovereign empire of Pellucidar! Seize him!
What are these creatures? They came right up out of the ground.
I have no idea. This is not what I expected.
Hang on a minute. Furry fellas from under the ground? These guys are mole people!
We are mole officers of the Royal Pellucidari Ranger Corps.
Unbelievable. Just like in the hill folklore of southern Italy, But how?
Do they work for the Red Baron like the apes?
We know of no Red Baron. We only recognize the sovereignty of his grand lowliness, the Mole King. Give us the terrorist Mannheim Munsterberg, or there will be violence!
It seems there is no choice. I won't have my friends pay for my crimes. Whatever they are, I'll come quietly.
Seize the other humans, too! They may be accomplices!
Listeners, the mole men dragged us inside this otherworldly drilling machine. We seem to be going down, very far down.
Yes, judging by the pressure barometer over there, we must be 20 miles below the surface of the Earth. I can't believe any of this. I've read countless local legends of goblins and trolls from underground, but I never thought any of it held water. And to think they've got advanced drilling technology. How much has the surface world been missing? Eli, that's ridiculous.
Silence! Anything you say can and will be used against you in the low court of law.
What have you done with Mannheim, you ugly little weasels?
The prisoner is being held in an adjacent maximum security transport cell.
I may be looking at the most incredible wonder I've ever beheld. A massive cyclopean city hugging the floor and the distant walls of a great cavern large enough to fit Manhattan. The architecture is hewn into the natural stone and seems to favor lowness over height. Planted along the streets in the place of trees are giant glowing mushrooms, the only source of light. A crowd of gaunt, hunched, furry mole people has gathered to greet us. They seem at once jubilant and full of rage.
What are you doing with that device? Why are you speaking into it?
It's my recorder.
Now, officer, if everything here is legal, then surely you won't mind us keeping a record of it.
I will allow it for now. You will follow me to the courthouse for your arraignment.
That was quick thinking, Alvis.
Call it a hunch. These people seem obsessed with law.
Maybe we can use that to our advantage. After all, we didn't do anything.
I wouldn't be so sure about that.
Mannheim! Are you alright?
Yes, for now.
They slapped you in irons. What's the matter with these guys?
We shall soon find out.
We're being marched down the main street to a wide stone cylinder in the center of town. The crowds jeer at us from the sidelines. We must be the criminals of the century. Parts of the city look damaged, with the same curious tunnels punched into them as we saw in the abandoned lab above.
It looks like something terrible happened here.
No. Please, tell me it wasn't my machine.
This is the Hall of Justice. Enter.
Order! Order! All rise for his lowliness, the King of Pellucidar. So enters the Lord Protector of the Deep Realm, High Inquisitor of the Low Court, the King of Pellucidar, whose wisdom flows like calcite-rich water from the stalactite of life. We all give praise.
Talk about making a mountain out of a molehill.
Really, Eli?
Bailiff, read the charges.
Mannheim Munsterberg, you are charged with releasing the terrible ground serpent upon our people 10 years ago. This constitutes an act of terrorism against Pellucidar. In light of the great suffering this monstrosity has inflicted upon our people, if found guilty, you will be cast into the bottomless pit at the center of the courtroom, where you will answer to the deep gods for your crimes.
Very well. The trial will begin immediately.
Now hold on. Where I come from, a fella's entitled to a trial by jury of his peers. This jury is all mole people. There ought to at least be a few humans to balance it out.
Very well. Jurors 11 and 12. You are free to go. The loud human and his scrawny compatriot shall take your place.
Scrawny?
And doesn't he get an attorney?
I'm the only one who knows the facts of the case from Mannheim's side. I'll represent him.
Prosecutor, you may begin.
Thank you, your loneliness. I will now examine the accused, if it pleases the court.
Very well. I shall tell the truth.
Mannheim Munsterberg, do you deny that you are the inventor of the destructive beast known as the ground serpent, which has laid waste to our fair city for the past 10 years?
No.
So, you confess.
Objection! This can't be the whole story.
What more could there be?
Well, how did you create the ground serpent, Mannheim? Surely you had good intentions. Furthermore, what is the ground serpent?
My intentions were pure, yes. It began in 1914. The Great War had just begun, and I was a young engineer in the service of the Kaiser Wilhelm. I was sent to Remote Station 47 to assist with secret projects. I had a large team of about 40 young men who were all very excited about their one more bolt and my mechanical man will be finished. But what shall I call him?
They tell me you are Herr Munsterberg, the inventor?
Manfred von Richthofen. Oh, the letter said the Kaiser would be sending someone to inspect our little outpost, but I never imagined he would grace us with a celebrity. May I say, you are the greatest pilot in all of Germany.
Many admire the flyers of planes. I admire the builders of planes. That is why I have come to you. I have taken quite an interest in your work on experimental modes of conveyance. Your latest creation is causing quite a stir back in Berlin. The ground serpent, it is called?
Oh, that is merely a nickname from the lab assistants. I call it the auto-navigatory subterranean segmented vessel.
I see why they came up with the nickname.
You see, the cabin of the vessel is segmented, and each segment can rotate independently. The idea came to me one day when I was watching trains leave the station, and as they were turning the bend...
It's all very fascinating, but I had hoped for a practical demonstration.
Of course. This way, please. Keep your distance from the drill bit. It may be flinging bits of rock. It can reach a top speed of 80 knots and dive to depths of 20 miles or more without overheating or cracking under pressure. Each segment has full articulation thanks to the ball joints, and they are controlled from this stick here.
Elegant. Simply elegant.
Allow me to activate the drill. It will open up untold frontiers in underground exploration. What was once science fiction will soon be science fact.
Magnificent. The sight of this device surpasses all they say about it. You are just the man I had in mind. I have a proposal for you. The Kaiser's secret expeditionary force has recovered an object of special properties. Something for which a man of your talents could find endless applications.
What could such a thing be?
I will show you.
So you confess. You admit you created the ground serpent. You are proud to show your friends its destructive power.
Destructive? Mannheim clearly said it was for exploration.
Exploration for the purpose of conquest, no doubt.
Who would want to conquer this miserable pit? You can have it.
Silence!
Mannheim deserves to be tried on the basis of his intentions. I can't believe that the man I know would design something for the purpose of destruction. I've seen him invent countless miraculous inventions during our travels together, and each of them was for a noble purpose.
All claims must be supported by evidence.
Fine. Then it's my turn to examine the witness. Mannheim, did you create the ground serpent as a weapon?
Goodness, no. Seeing my creation weaponized was my greatest regret. I only wish I had sensed the Baron's deception earlier. I had no idea things would turn out the way they were. My mind was elsewhere. Everyone, get ready! Herr Richterfeld will be here any minute. I want him to be pleased with our progress. That is him now. Radwing, the door!
Willkommen, Herr Richterfeld.
Herr Munsterberg, mein friend. So glad to see you.
And you as well, Richterfeld. All is well in the fatherland, I hope?
I'm afraid not. Enemies encircle us. That is why our work here is so important. Please, we are eager to see your progress.
We? Oh, you brought a colleague.
Ah, yes. Mannheim Munsterberg, I'd like to introduce Dr. Victor Raznovich.
Pleased to meet you, Dr. Munsterberg.
Oh, I am not a doctor. Merely an engineer.
All the same, the Baron tells me much about your work. I believe we can do much good together.
Dr. Raznovich is the best archaeologist I could find. He is responsible for bringing the Zambulan shard to us.
Really? How extraordinary a find you have made, Herr Raznovich. I have only begun to study the shard, and I find its properties simply awe-inspiring. It produces more power than any steam or petrol engine ever devised.
And that is only the beginning, I assure you. I have studied the myths of power crystals from a number of civilizations across the globe, and I am convinced that our power shard is quite literally the stuff of legend. I would very much like to observe a test of its mechanical augmentations.
The communique from Berlin didn't mention a test. The mechanisms are not quite perfected yet. But if the Kaiser has asked you to conduct one, I suppose we can switch it on for a brief test. With your approval, of course, Baron Richterfeld.
I assure you, Mannheim, everything is quite in accordance with the Kaiser's wishes. Please, activate the generator.
Very well. Radwing, flip the switch!
Jawohl.
Look out the observation window.
Storm clouds.
Beautiful! The power to summon up storms! Just as the Tibetan scrolls describe it, all the fury and capriciousness of God given over to the hand of man.
Dr. Raznovich, I don't mean to be blunt, but I must ask, you are a Russian citizen, are you not? Why assist the German government?
Herr Munsterberg, the desire for a better future transcends allegiance to any nation.
So you confess you knowingly colluded with warmongers.
Objection, Your Honor. I mean, Your Lowness.
Jurors may not object.
Well, why object to that?
That's nonsense.
Please enlighten me. How does this assist your case?
Isn't it obvious? This clearly establishes Mannheim's suspicions about the Red Baron's intentions. He didn't trust Victor Raznovich or the Baron. They weaponized the ground serpent. Isn't that right, Mannheim?
Yes. It may not have been my hands that turned the serpent into a monster, but it was my negligence that allowed it to be so.
But surely you can't take the blame for that.
That is not the question at hand. All that matters is did Mannheim Munsterberg unleash the ground serpent upon Pellucidar?
I'm afraid I did.
You confess!
Mannheim, what are you saying? There must be more to this.
Yes, there is much more. The day the ground serpent was set loose must have been sometime in 1917, late in the war. Things were not going well for Germany, and there was much pressure on us to turn the tide. The flight tests are going better than expected. Oh, the fly will be ready before the end of the month. We have done it, Rodwing. I can't wait to tell Manfred.
No need, Mannheim. I already know.
Manfred, nobody told me you were coming.
That is because I told no one. Champagne?
Oh, celebrations are a bit premature. There's still tests to run.
No, mein friend. I come not just to congratulate you on the Storm Flyer, but to inform you of your other great victory. The stunning success of the Ground Serpent.
The Ground Serpent?
Yes. It performed beyond all expectations on the battlefield.
What do you mean?
Knowing that you were busy here with the flyer, I oversaw some modifications of my own. It tunneled straight under no man's land and right into the trenches. Oh, you should have seen them scatter before its might.
The Ground Serpent was never made for military purposes.
And I've brought the conquering hero home. Behold! I took the liberty of adding a flamethrower, and it's perfectly obedient. A toast to Germany's savior, the great inventor, Mannheim Munsterberg!
May I have a moment to inspect the Ground Serpent? The modifications, I mean. I'd like to see them up close.
Of course. You will find everything in order. This is a glorious new beginning. With the Ground Serpent and the Storm Flyer, this terrible war would come to a swift and permanent end. They call it the war to end all wars. We will make it so.
I disconnect this via
And
here.
when it is over, we must forge a new order. Never again can so much destruction befall the world. It will take a strong hand to end the era of barbarism and cruelty.
Manfred, this is not what I invent for. I never asked for this. You have taken my work and perverted it towards your own wicked ends. And so, you leave me no choice but to see those ends never attained.
What are you saying, Mannheim?
I must destroy it.
Mannheim! What have you done?
It will destroy everything in this facility. And then, when there is nothing left to destroy, it will tunnel straight down and incinerate itself in the Earth's inner fires. The Ground Serpent will never take another life. None of my creations will.
You've betrayed me, Mannheim. I will not soon forget it. Out of respect for our friendship, I will not kill you now. But if I ever see you again, get out of my sight before I lose command of my fury!
So you confess!
But that's not fair! He thought he was destroying the Ground Serpent. He didn't know it would tunnel right into your city and continue its destructive programming.
Guilt by negligence is still guilt!
What, you nasty little gophers? This is a kangaroo court. You never meant to give him a chance. You were gonna find him guilty no matter what.
Silence, or you will be held in contempt and flung into the boiling mud pots.
Bring it on, you mangy little prairie dogs. I'll take you all with me.
Eli, you're not helping!
You can't call Mannheim a terrorist for trying to destroy his creation.
Laura, Eli, it touches mine heart to be so passionately defended by friends. But I must own my guilt.
Has the jury reached a verdict?
But we haven't had time to deliberate.
Guilty, 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 guilty.
Munsterberg, you have been found guilty as charged, and will be immediately flung into the bottomless pit. Pellucidar will finally see justice. Do you have any less.
That doesn't sound good at all.
Battle stations!
It's the Baron! He's riding the serpent!
What a horrible sight! A towering, twisted mechanism of steel with a face like a giant spinning drill.
It seems fortune favors me today, Mannheim. Our little encounter created just enough commotion to attract the serpent, and it was a simple matter to restore its original programming. And now, my worthy opponents, you will die.
Right there with you!
No, I will run from this no more.
What are you doing?
Stepping out in front of the serpent.
Mannheim, I told you what I'd do if I ever saw you again. I see you are eager to finish this.
You're quite right, Manfred. Only it is not me who is finished. There is something you have failed to remember.
And what is that?
On the day I stole the flyer, I also stole this.
But some sort of control device.
Precisely. So that if I ever found the serpent again, I could issue one final order.
No.
The serpent has turned its drill against its own body. It's destroying itself.
No. No. No!
It's finished.
But where's Richtofen?
He's gone.
The beast is dead! Mannheim Munsterberg killed it!
The beast is dead! The beast is dead! Praise Munsterberg!
Officers, organize a search party and bring me the war criminal, Baron Richtofen. Mannheim Munsterberg, you have shown a genuine remorse and taken steps to make reparations for your crimes. For this, rather than throw you into the pits, I shall merely exile you from Pellucidar, effective immediately.
Thank you, Your Holiness. I accept the court's ruling. Come now, my friends. Let us return to the flyer.
Safe aboard the Liberty Flyer once again. I'd scarcely believe what happened if it wasn't all right here on my recorder.
I'm still reeling from the discoveries we just made. This has incredible implications for my prehistoric precursor theory.
Say, you don't think that exile applies to the rest of us, right? I'd love to go back down there with my camera.
I don't think we should press our luck, Eli.
I'm just glad mine horrible mistake will cause no more devastation. Now, I only have to make amends for my other mistake. My final mistake.
Mannheim, what are you talking about? Is everything all right?
Mine friends, I cannot close this painful chapter of my former life until I have laid everything bare. It's not fair to me, and it's not fair to you. I need to tell you one more thing. Something I didn't confess in court.
What do you mean, Mannheim?
I saw Manfred one more time, several months after our bitter parting. It was the day you shot down the Red Baron's plane, Eli. You see, I already told you I was there, in the skies above Belgium, that I saw the battle. However, there is more to the story. Look, Rodway, that's definitely Manfred's plane. And that American pilot is giving him quite a challenge. Oh no! I think this may be the end for mine old friend. I've never seen him fly so desperately. No! He's been shot! Rodwing, we have to help him. Or at least we have to see if he's really... Rodwing, don't give me that look. You know I have to help. There's the wreckage. Oh, it's burning. Oh, bring as close as you can and drop the gangplank. I'm going outside. Look, there he is. Still in the plane. Radvang, you have to pull him out.
Jawohl.
He's unconscious. We'll just leave him here. He'll be safe until he wakes up, I hope. And it's best if we're gone by then. Goodbye, my friend. So now you know the truth, my friends. You see, I am truly responsible for all of this. I saved the Red Baron's life. Giant Storm exists because of me.
What? You saved that maniac? Why?
Because he spared my life. I owed him that much, and now I carry that choice with me, always.
All this time, I've been wondering how that devil could have survived. And it was you. It was your fault all along.
Eli, I'm sorry.
I'll be in my cabin.
Eli, wait!
Give him time, Mannheim. You did something that was very brave, and in my book, you've shown nothing but compassion through this whole thing. I told you when this all started that the truth would vindicate you. And the truth is, you're a good man, Mannheim.
Danke, Laura. Danke.
Tune in next month for more Tales of the Liberty Flyer. Our show today featured the voice talents of Rissy Dollins as Laura Lamour, Mark Scoggins as Mannheim Munsterberg, Nikki Shane as Eli Franzblau, Josh Pinkowski as Dr. Alvis Sinclair, Brian Jerz as the Mole King, Matt Fazio as the Mole Prosecution, Yvonne Cherudo as Dr. Victor Raznovich, and your humble narrator, Chris Nebergall, as the Red Baron. Additional mole people were voiced by friends of the show. Their names can be found in the show notes. Tales of the Liberty Flyer is created by Drew Franzblau and Chris Nebergall. The music is by Bobby Brader. Thanks for listening, and keep your eye on the skies for the Liberty Flyer. All right, pour me a scotch, boys.